about this from a picture. Suppose 1, 2, 3, 4. First we have to know in this picture about reality. In reality, what we see? The person who has money or the person who has power, the others are giving that man the money, the power. Suppose this is a man who has a tool. The others are giving here more. So, in reality, it is seen the person who has already things or who has already the way to stand, people are giving them. So, this is a person and he is standing in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 in above 6 tools. And the person who has minimum thing, he is standing on minimum thing. And the person who has nothing is already the oppressed one. This is the reality. In case of equality, everyone has a tool to stand to watch the match. Let's here a person who has less height is standing here and he is not able. The person who has one but is of medium height can see the things, but a person who is large and also standing on the same thing will stand like this. Now, this is equality. Now, we have to know the equity. Equity is basically the proportionality. That means the man who is already larger, he will stand. He is already larger and he do not need a tool to stand. The man who is of medium height needs one tool to stand to see the match, and the man who is shortest among these three, he will stand on 2 tools, so that everyone is of same height. That is the equity. To make everyone equal. Equity is the basis. Hello? Now, the reality or the independence. In case of independence, there is no wall or nothing. So, everyone has the right to see the things. This is basically equity.
ওই ছবিটার নাম কি? এই যে এখান থেকে এটা কোন এক্সিট করে দিলে দেখলাম এটা তুমি ইমেজ থেকে বুঝাও, এটা Now you have to take this pen and shuffle.
Yes, sir.
Just a white and the white pen need to be taken. So what is reality, equality, equity, and liberation?
The things that I have already told, this is the visual representation of my discussion. That is what I have already told. That is, in reality, the pupil or the person who has already things or already property or already fame, people are giving them more, so they are becoming this. And the person who is in the medium level, he is always in the medium level. And the person who has less, and he is becoming the oppressed one. So this is the reality, but it is not the equality or the equity. This is only the reality, and this is the harsh reality. Now, what is equality? Equality, that is, everyone is getting the same type of tool, but here it is not necessary. The necessity is, if he is standing on one tool, he is getting up, and this person has nothing to see in the field. Before seeing or for seeing, he needs another. So this is the equality. That is, everyone getting the same type of things, whether he had or not. This is not the equality. But in case of equity, equity is basically the proportionality. That is, to get the same proportion of height, to get the same result, they are standing. The first man, he is taller. The second one is of medium height, and third one is the shortest among these three. So he will need two tools or two things to stand to get the match, or he will able to see the match if he got two tools. But in case of equality, he got one, so he need one. That is not the equality. But in liberation, there is no wall or no bar. Everyone will enjoy the match. In reality, equality and equity, there is a wall, there is a bar to enjoy the match. As in equality and equity, we have already discussed. I already discussed in my previous lecture or discussion before, the way to become equal or through equality and equity. So basically, in equality and equity, a specific relief act come from equity, not equality. Though these two are different concepts, but in somewhere these are proportional to each other. In somewhere, equality and equity are proportional. Let's close the discussion, and now we will discuss the declaratory decree where we have left. So let's open the note and so first the birth. So first we have to know about the birth of birth. So the equity, the specific relief act born from equity, equity, and equity from UK. First, there in UK, there were two types of court, common law and chancery court. Common law was not able to solve all the problems in UK. So, later, chancery court established to solve the problems that were brought to it or in front of it. Then, from that court, equity was born and British brought this to Bangladesh. So this is a easy history of specific relief act in Bangladesh. By visual representation, we can tell that this is Bangladesh and this is UK. This is Bangladesh. From UK, this equity came to Bangladesh. This is the visual representation. Now we will discuss the declaratory decree. Oh, before discussing the declaratory decree, we have to know some maxims. There are numerous maxims and there are thousands of maxims related to equity. But in our country, we have to know only 12 for our academic purpose. Only 12. I am writing the maxims and I am telling the maxims one by one. First maxim. It is the maxim equity will not suffer a wrong without a remedy. Why equity came? Equity came to give the remedy. So equity will not suffer a wrong without giving a remedy. So it will must give remedy until there is any mistake or it is out of law. Second maxim will be equity follows the law. What is in the law? What is mentioned in the law? What is in the act? What is in the code? Equity will always follow it. Equity will always follow it. In SR Act, the provisions and the sections related to these maxims are found. The third maxim is where there is equity, the law shall prevail. So, in case of equity, the law shall prevail. This is similar type of maxim as of number 2. In number 2, it is said that equity follows the law. And third, it is similar that where there is equity, the law shall prevail. That is, equity gave force on law. So, equity is dependent on law. Without law, there should not be any equity. Then, four maxim. Where the equities are equal, the first will prevail. Where there are many equity and the equities are equal, then the first one will be prevail. That is through the numerical concept. Now the fifth one will be he who seeks equity must do equity. So before wanting equity or before seeking equity, we must do equity. Suppose here the person will not get the equity because is he doing equity? Is he doing equity with this person? No. So before seeking equity, one must do equity. Without doing equity, you can't seek equity. The sixth thing is that the person who is seeking equity must come with clean hands. Suppose a person who is an offender or who has already done offense and he has come to get the equity. Offender should not get equity. So before gaining equity or before seeking equity, one must come with clean hands. The seventh one is delay defeats equity. That means we have already known the Limitation Act. There is the limit of instituting suit. Limit of suit. If a person comes after 1 day, suppose the limitation of possession is 6 months. A person came after 6 months 1 day. He will not get the remedy for doing delay or for not coming in time. He has already got 6 months of time, but within that 6 months he was not coming and he is gaining or getting or coming after the limitation period. So that's time the equity will be defeated. Equality is equity. I have already told that sometimes equality is equity. Sometimes equality is equity. Though these two have differences, but in reality these two are different concepts, but in some cases these are same and these two are same in some cases. 9. Equity looks the intent rather than form. So equity gave importance on the intention. In what intention the suit is brought or the what remedy they are expecting. So equity looks the intent rather than the form. The 10th maxim, equity looks on that as done which ought to be done. That means equity looks which ought to be done. That means which was intent to do. Equity looks on that. The 11th maxim is equity imputes an intention to fulfill obligation. That means equity looks the intention, not the outcome or without legal to fulfill the obligation. Equity acts in personam, that is related to person. Equity acts related to person. Now these are the basis of equity law or the law of equity in Bangladesh. We are jumping to our topic, that is the declaratory decree. Now we have to know what is the declaratory decree or what is how to write the answer. Okay. First we have to know what is suit. For learning the declaratory decree, suit means any proceeding by a party or parties against another in a court of law. That means in a suit there will be two parties or maybe parties. One is plaintiff and another party will be defendant. So suit means to brought any proceeding by a party against another party in a court of law. That means these proceedings will be in a court of law. These things or this definition is given in Black's Law Dictionary, edition 8, page 1475. So, suit means any proceedings brought by one party against another in the court of law. If any party brought any proceedings against another not in the court of law or any other where which is not the court of law, then it will not be suit. For being suit, then two conditions are required. There will be two party and one will bring against another, and the second thing is that in the court of law. For being the suit, there will be two conditions. The two conditions are one party will bring the proceeding against another party in the court of law. Now what we will learn? We have to learn what is told in the section 42 of SR Act. So, this is a concept regarding the declaratory decree. In the case of Faizul Karim versus Agrani Bank 11 BLD, in the case of Faizul Karim versus Agrani Bank 11 BLD High Court Division 528, it is told that mere declaration of any legal term, any legal character or any right to property is maintainable. That means in declaratory decree means two things. One, any legal character. Two, any right to property. In the case of Faizul Karim versus Agrani Bank 11 BLD, that is means legal character, right to property. Now we will discuss the meaning of declaratory decree. Meaning: it is the decree related to the legal character or right to property, and this is found in Mr. Pierre Ali, MD, Abdul Hai versus others. Mr. Pierre Ali, MD, Abdul Hai versus others, and Hai and others. From this case, it is found that the declaratory decree is the decree related to the legal character or the right to property. This declaratory decree can be brought for something positive or negative. And the things is that not only the conditions for declaratory decree is these two. There are several other conditions for which declaratory decree related suit can be instituted. I am trying to mention them one after one. First can be on marriage. In case of marriage, the file or the suit regarding declaratory decree can be instituted. In case of adoption, in this suit regarding adoption, the declaratory decree can be instituted. Decree by deception. 4. Share. So these have many more. How the declaratory decree on which matter the suit regarding the declaratory decree can be instituted. Now we have to memorize only 3 things. In which sector the declaratory decree can't be instituted. There are only 3 exceptions. So the exception of not getting the declaratory decree are only 3. First one is regarding the government job. In this case, in this matter, the declaratory decree regarding suits can't be instituted. The second one is the person recruited for job. That means the job related requirement, we can't brought suit regarding declaratory decree. And if already one has bought the suit or the suit is instituted, then it will not maintainable. The third one is passed in exam. Other than these 3, in every matter regarding marriage, adoption case, the claim of anything, the suit can be instituted regarding the declaratory decree. and the only exceptions regarding the declaratory decree is about government job, about recruitment for job, and about passing in exam. Now we are already at the end. We will learn the next chapter of the degree, that is declaratory decree, by famous case references. The first case we will learn today is about Sufia Khanam Choudhury. Sufia Khanam Choudhury versus Faizun Nessa Choudhury. Next, 7 BLD 80. So, in this case, it is mentioned that declaration nullity of a deed is the main and substantive relief, where the cancellation of the deed is a consequential relief. So, there are two things: substantive relief and consequential relief. The substantive relief is declaration nullity. And the second thing is the cancellation of deed. So, when a deed is cancelled, the relief will be consequential relief, and when the declaration of deed is null or nullity of declaration, this is the substantive relief. Now, we will learn the next case, that is manager personnel division of Sonali Bank. Yes. Shahjahan Mia and others. 3 BLD ACD 197. So, the case is Manager Personnel Division of Sonali Bank versus MD Shahjahan Mia and others of 3 BLD ACD 197. In this case, it is told that the suit for declaration that the plaintiff's dismissal by bank was illegal and binding upon him, but he was still in service without asking for any consequential relief by way of mandatory injunction, and the claim for wages is maintainable. So, here the manager of Sonali Bank versus MD Shahjahan Mia and others, it is mentioned that the dismissal was illegal and binding upon that man, and he was still in service, but he was not asking for any wages. the claim for arrear wages that he didn't got during his service time is maintainable. The third case is Sardar Ali versus GM Ali Baksha and ours for BLD SPD 309. In this case, it is mentioned that the suit for declaration that the order of removal for service is illegal and void. The suit for declaration for removal of order from service is illegal and void, and the suit is maintainable. And the suit for the declaration of illegality is maintainable because this doesn't fall under those three, which is the exception of not instituting suit. The fourth case is Khorshid Alam versus Amir Sultan Ali Haidar and another. In this case, it is told that the declaration as to unknown percentage and eligibility as Mutwali is basically the person who is looking after the Waqf property or the property which is waqfed for public use or the for uses of general public. The fifth case regarding the Zarina Khatun versus Pauline Chandra the and others. One BLD AD 253. In this case, it is told regarding the amendment of plain. In this case, the issue is whether the prayer for declaration that the deed of partition is void, fraudulent and illegal be amended by substituting prayer for cancellation of the deed of partition or not. So, here the decision came is the cancellation of document seems to be a consequence of the declaration of deed as null and void. Cancellation seems to be a consequence of declaration of deed as null and void. The sixth case is Momtazur Rahman versus AKM Mokbul Hussain and others. Here in this case, it is found that the legal heirs have fraudulently made the Heba Bilwas. So, the question is whether the fraudulently made Heba Bilwas deed can be instituted under 42 or not, or it will be maintainable or not. The answer is yes, it is maintainable because they are the legal heir and KM Mokbul Hussain. Yes, it is maintainable. So, as they are the legal heirs and the legal heirs made the fraudulent deed, and after the death of their predecessors, they will be the entitled with the property, or they will get the possession of the property. So, though he fraudulently made the Heba Bilwas, so it will be maintained and this suit can be maintainable. The seventh, Mokbul Hussain and ours versus Akhil winner Shaha. In this case, it is told that no declaration of suit can be brought without the reconversion of possession. So, for being the declaration suit, it must be the suit regarding the possession too. When there is no possession, no declaration. So, for being this, the possession and the declaration is important. The eighth case is Alhaj Ahmed Hussain Khan versus Rezanur Rahman. Hussain Khan versus Rezanur Rahman. In this case, it is told that the suit of a specific performance can be both oral and written, but when it is oral, then there must be a proof regarding that oral contract. So, for being the suit of a specific performance, the firstly it can be written, and secondly if it is oral, then there should be proof, and if it is not proved, then it will fail. So, for being the suit of declaratory decree, it must be either written or oral with proof. The last case is the ending case or whatever it is. I have already mentioned while discussing the declaratory decree, that is Faizul Karim versus Agrani Bank 11 BLD is 528, and this case is about that only two things, that is mere declaration of legal character or any right to property. Only in these things, in these two things, the declaratory suit is maintainable, and in this case the other things which is not related to mere declaration of legal character or right to property, this suit is not maintainable. But while discussing the declaratory decree, I have mentioned that only in three cases, that is for government job, for recruitment in any job, or for passing in exam. Only these three are the exception. Other than these three, every suit regarding any matter can be brought under section 42 of Specific Relief Act to bring equity. That's all for today. I have tried to make you understand the concept of declaratory decree with easy words and with various case references. So I am thanking you for your patience and listening my lectures with your patience. The things that I have discussed are there in this book, and this is the best book regarding law of Bangladesh Bar Council, and if you read this one, you will find everything easy with case references. I will suggest you to buy this book from our institution and to revise all the topics regarding Bar Council, and surely you will be passed and you will pass in the exam. So bye bye for today. See you later.